wish that I could just wish away my feelings, but I can't.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand, sand,
Hurts my
sand.
feelings.
Haunted by fake sand in my very soul. Sand, sand. Are you suffering as much as I am?
Sand hurts my feelings.
Tormenting me. I'm in agony.
Sand hurts my feelings.
I don't like sand.
Hello, and welcome to The Sand Hurts My Feelings, a Star Wars podcast from a Swiftie point of view. I am your host, Alex.
And I am your other host, Sarah. And today we're talking about Princess Leia and her connections with Speak Now, Taylor's version.
Indeed we are.
To kick us off, we're going to start with talking about our experiences with Speak Now, both the original release and the Taylor's version release. Alex, would you like to kick us off with that?
Sounds great. This is, I think, the first album that I was completely invested in. I bought this album, the original version, I bought at Target, maybe not. I think this was probably my first at 7 a.m. release. I really enjoyed this album. This is when I was fully on board and following her career. Elsewhere, this album has two of my favorite songs on it. Back to December is an all-time favorite, and then Haunted is my favorite Taylor Swift song. So I really enjoyed and just loved these songs. Yeah, I was fully on board of that train at this point with the original. How about you?
That's very nice. Yeah, I was going to say, I know that Haunted is one of your, if not the top of all of them, it is certainly within the top three.
It is the top.
Okay. For me, I have hazy memories of this one. I remember hearing Mine on the radio. I remember being annoyed by it, listening to it on the radio. But I also remember when we sat down to do the listen through as you were converting me into a Swiftie. This is one where I was really surprised by it. The depth of the songs and the emotion. And yeah, there's some country to it, but to me it's it felt more and more pop. And I know there's definitely still some country elements on it, but there was more I connected with. But that was when I listened to the album for the first time all the way through, which wasn't until 2019. So there were several years in between then.
Right, and I know for sure with this album, the songs that are played and pushed for this album are the more country songs. Mine is a very country song. Sparks Fly is country. Mean is super country. Yeah, there's a lot of country on here. I would say even Speak Now is kind of country, but there is a lot more, and there is definitely she's playing around with the different pieces at that time and diving into that.
Yeah, because I had never heard Haunted before then, but I really like Haunted. I really like The Story of Us, which has more rock tones to it. I also like Ours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ours is on this one. And Long Live. Yeah, so I really like those songs on there. But yeah, they didn't get as much radio play as, say, Mine and Mean got probably the most radio play.
Yep.
Now, how about the Taylor's version? I want to talk about the vault tracks. And again, we had a very similar experience because we were together at that time.
I'm going to always have a special place for this one because this literally got released the day we went on our honeymoon. So it was really cool to listen to it because because our flight wasn't leaving until the evening. So I went to work that day. We went to Target. We went to Target at 7 a.m., listened to a couple tracks before I had to go to work, and then you made sure that you downloaded it so we would have it on an iPod or a phone throughout the entirety of the honeymoon, and then finished listening to it that night as we were either waiting in the airport or starting on the plane towards our destination. That's right. And then it just popped up throughout that trip. It just kept popping up, and then we actually went to we went to Ireland, and there was an awesome restaurant that we went to, and it just had a Taylor Swift Spotify list, and it was just playing, and I was like, this is a great song. And then I'm like, who's in charge of this? This is a great selection. And then they immediately changed it, which made me sad. But
We were almost done with our meal at that point, so we got to enjoy, and we picked that restaurant more or less on a whim. And yeah, we just had Swift serenade us the whole time. But I mean, yeah, because we went to Ireland and were there, and the entirety of the time, like, I was surprised how much we heard Taylor being played, to be honest. Like, I know she's a global pop star, but I was surprised, to be honest, how much playtime we got of her.
yeah, I would agree. But it was really, really cool. I will say I liked the album better once I actually like sat down and listened to the whole thing with better headphones. Because like we were like with better sound, because there were definitely some songs that I was like disappointed in, because I think we were listening one headphone in one, and so it was a little difficult to things, because like Castle Crumbling, I will fully honest, first time I heard it, I didn't hear Hayley Williams at all. I thought that it was Taylor Swift singing the whole time. But then you corrected me, because I was like, this is pretty disappointing, and you're like, she had a verse. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I just couldn't hear it in the headphones or the Switch. So, and then going back and listening to it, I love the song, and it was really good. So that's I think like the first time where I've been like, headphones have affected my listening.
I would agree. And it also doesn't help when you're listening on the airplane and you're trying to crank it up over the sounds of the engine and the ambient air and all of that stuff. So this one we got 6 from the vault tracks. And you already talked a little bit about Castles Crumbling. Is that your favorite, or what are your thoughts on the vault tracks?
Castle Crumbling is absolutely my favorite. Yeah, there's too much, because it leads into, not yet Reputation, but it leads into that of like, this is where it started, because right before, like the previous album, she got interrupted by Kanye, and she thought everyone was booing her, and so that's why she thought her castle was crumbling and stuff like that, and thought people hated her. And so it's just, again, with those ideas and those things, I definitely love that song, because I was definitely ride or die Taylor, and I defended her wholeheartedly through that to stupid college bros.
I'm glad you were there for that. I think Castle Crumbling is the only one of the vault tracks that I liked at first listen, to be honest. And it's still my favorite of her Speak Now vault tracks. I just think there is such emotion, and I think bringing Hayley Williams, that was like the perfect choice for that duet. How they play off each other is so haunting and beautiful and amazing. As I've listened to the vault tracks more, they've grown on me, but at first I was not a fan. So now I do like When Emma Falls in Love and Electric Touch, but the other ones I honestly could kind of take or leave.
You still don't like I Can See You? Oh, I like that one.
No, I don't like it. It's not as bad as Timeless. Listeners, I honestly skip Timeless. It's a long song and I don't like it. Come at me. Tell me I'm wrong.
It is not one of my. I can understand why it was left off of the first album.
Yeah, I see what she was trying to do, but yeah, to me it's just too long and trying to put too many of those story threads together. But yeah, Electric Touch grew on me, so I like that one now. And then When Emma Falls in Love.
All right. Now we can shift into our song selection of our Star Wars. So we're again talking about Leia. And hopefully you have all listened to our previous episodes just to get a spot of where we're coming from and how we're analyzing. But I guess I can go first.
I'm so excited.
And I'm interested because we may have the same one. I'm thinking of, because I will tell you, I literally switched what I was going to do today. Because I was reading it and I was like, this doesn't work. And so then I had to switch what my thing was. So
Okay, so now I need to know what you originally had and then what you switched to. Like that's pretty big to switch like the day of recording.
correct. But yeah, no, I went back and I looked at it and I'm like, this doesn't work. I wanted something there that isn't there. But I will tell you what I had later. But for right now, I'll start off with what my selection is.
Okay.
My selection is Long Live.
Oh.
So my selection is Long Live because, and so this, where I'm taking Leia from this is the right after the destruction of the second Death Star. So there are a lot of lyrics in this that work to me with that. The biggest one is kind of right after the Death Star is destroyed. There are going to be people that don't, because there, as we know in books and stuff like that, there's like, oh, it's propaganda. They're not, the Emperor's not really dead, stuff like that. So that to me works really well with the phrase, when they gave us our trophies and we held them up for our town, and the cynics were outraged, screaming, "This is absurd," because for a moment, a band of thieves in ripped up jeans got to rule the world. So to me, that, like, because the Empire never really took the rebellion seriously, and I think that's honestly why one of the main reasons why it won is because they never really was like, we're going full-fledged, take them seriously. It was always, oh, they're pitiful rebels, they're nothing, we can just kind of wipe them out and, oh, they get small little victories, but it's never anything, it's always viewed as like luck or nothing important. And so, like, this kind of thing of like, they're thieves, they're ripped up jeans, they don't look eloquent, they're not what they're supposed to be. That works really well. Then following that, it goes, long live the walls we crashed through, how the kingdom lights shined just for me and you. I was screaming, long live all the magic we made. Bring on all the pretenders. I'm not afraid. So this is just how the rebellion in her, like, crashed through the walls and brought down fascism and brought down the Empire with something that they never thought, nobody thought they could do, because they're like, this is a whole government and you are a band of rebels, you can't fight that. And then bring on all the pretenders, to me, is also of like, all right, bring the people who are going to be the negative or the people trying to take advantage, and how she's going to again be part of the New Republic as it's developing. And then it goes again, long live all the mountains we moved, as in like the mountains of the Empire. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. I was screaming, long live that look on your face, and bring on all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered. So to me, it's again, works really well to that. It's her and the rebellion, and they have fought back, and they have finally defeated the big empire, and they've finally turned that tide of the war, because this is where the tide totally turns, and the New Republic gets established and stuff like that. So, and she had the time of her life. Now, maybe did she actually have the time of her life, because it's really depressing and horrible in war, but like, she does miss these days later on when you go through Bloodline, and like later on, like, she misses those, like, hey, we were a ragtag group of people that we were just fighting with, and we just knew what to do.
Or they didn't question.
And like, they didn't question things, and it was like there wasn't all the bureaucracy of the Republic as it was. It was just like, this has to get done, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it. And so she reminisced about that. Then I also have, hold on to the spinning around, confetti falls to the ground, may these memories break our fall, because they need to hold on to this celebration, because this is the celebration of the Death Star, where they're having the big celebration, because it's going to be hard the next couple years right afterwards, and it is, as we've seen in everything that's come forth, and like eventually the Republic falls, but like, she gave everything. Like in Last Shot, she was going in and doing those things. In Princess and the Scoundrel, like, she doesn't get a break. She just goes right into, I'm now doing more Republic stuff, and doesn't even take a break. So it's like, again, you have to hold on to that memory, hold on to that moment. And then the last bit, so will you take a moment, promise me this, that you'll stand by me forever, but if God forbid fate should step in and force us into a goodbye, if you have children someday, when they point to the pictures, please tell them my name, tell them how the crowds went wild, tell them how I hope they shine. And this is not specific to a person, but just of, again, the people she's met in the rebellion, of like, these are my friends and I've lost touch with them, but like, please remember, like, tell them who I was. And also, she has etched her name on the galaxy. Like, she's always, everybody knows who she is. And, like, she created the rebellion. She helped work with the rebellion. She helped bring down the Empire. Like, she has had those things. So she's, to me, that's more of that of, like, hey, tell them how it was and how we were good together and how, like, our band worked and how we accomplished our goal.
I like that pick for her. I hadn't thought about it from that way, but I like that moment. And I like, the Ewoks would dance to Long Live. They totally would. But that song is both about living and being in this moment, but remembering this moment for the dark times or the more difficult times that come. And it's the acknowledgement, like, this isn't going to last forever in the song, which I do really like, because Leia both knows, like, this victory isn't going to last because the war's not over. We have a lot of rebuilding to do, and that's crazy hard. But I mean, they also didn't necessarily think they were going to do this. So I mean, they're just completely elated at that point.
Right, and that's the point of, like, they are the everybody thought they couldn't do it, and they're like, this is how the crowds went wild. This is where we went. This is where we got to go nuts, and this is where we got to hold on to this.
Very nice. So then, what was the song you originally had that you pulled last minute?
The song I originally had that I pulled last minute was Never Grow Up. And I had that for Leia and Ben.
Okay.
But I didn't have enough evidence of, like, seeing her with Ben. Because we have with young Ben. Because literally most of what we have is Last Shot. And she's not super involved in Last Shot. So that's what I wanted to use, but I realized I didn't have enough to cover it, to defend it.
Well, then, buckle up and listen.
Oh my gosh, is that the one you have?
That's the one I have.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing! Oh, we could have had one that was connected. Dang!
I know we could have matched. And listeners, from our pilot episode, if when we match on a song, we're going to do some fun trivia. And we're both going to try to stump the other one. Both Star Wars and Taylor Swift trivia. So that is not the case here, but it almost was.
Oh, man.
It almost was.
Okay.
So I have Never Grow Up for Leia for Speak Now. And for the reasons that you alluded to me, this song has two meanings. One is for Leia and Ben. To me, that's very much the first verse. So that's when there's a baby. Your little hand wrapped around my finger, and it's so quiet in the world tonight. Your eyelids flutter because you're dreaming, so I took you in, turn on your favorite night light. And we get a little bit of that in Last Shot, but to me, there's the moment in, I don't remember which of the 3 Aftermath trilogy books by Chuck Wendig, but there's a moment in there where Leia is trying to do some of the reaching out to the Force that Luke has started her in on her Jedi training. She's trying to connect with the Force and gets frustrated because she seems to think it comes so easily to Luke, and she struggles with it. And one of the first times she really taps in is when she feels Ben in utero. And she has this moment connecting with Ben and feeling Ben, and she's able to tell that, that he's a he, and that he's already starting to think thoughts and be connected with the Force. So it's not quite literal, but it's that connection and that sweet sentimentality from that first verse. The rest of it, to me, and to the stronger piece, is this is a song she's singing to and for her younger self, and she's trying to pull courage on her younger days and it's a little bit of a self-soothing song because she doesn't have parents anymore. And so it's her reflecting back and thinking about her time, because we see her as young Leia, spoilers ahead. We see a young Leia in Kenobi, Leia, Princess of Alderaan. She has these moments of, I want to break free, I want to do more, I don't understand what's going on, but then everything is taken away from her, and she doesn't have those moments anymore, which I see reflected in the lyrics. Don't make her, your mom, drop you off around the block. Remember, she's getting older too. Don't lose the way that you dance around in your PJs getting ready for school. Just that innocence. Take pictures in your mind of your childhood room. Memorize what it sounded like when your dad gets home.
Remember the footsteps, remember the words said, and all your little brother's favorite songs. I just realized everything I have is someday gonna be gone. And that also reflects on her and Ben, because when Ben leaves, there's this huge hole in her of my son is gone. And she talks to Luke about that. Like, Kylo Ren has completely consumed him, especially once Han dies. She's just like, my son is gone. And the last kind of version of the chorus is wish I'd never grown up. Wish I'd never grown up. I could still be little and it would be so simple. And I definitely think there's times that Leia feels that, where she wouldn't get hurt, won't let no one break your heart if she had never grown up. And we see in Kenobi how sweet and carefree of a child she was. And that gets taken away. Leia's never carefree again. She has like 500 things going on in her brain. And yeah, so I think it is kind of a self-soothing song of her reflecting on her younger self and maybe trying to keep that hopeful younger spirit alive. But I like the journey because with Leia, we do have the time with her being younger and then being older. I mean, we also get to have her experience a little bit as a mother. And so I think all of that makes the song the best fit for Leia. And that's why I picked it.
That actually works really well because the song itself was written by Taylor as an homage to her 4-year-old self. She wrote that as of like, this is me reflecting on my life and everything that's and I especially like the one of like everything that I want is gonna be gone, and of like Alderaan's gone. She lost her parents and everything and all of those memories that she could have had. Like, she didn't put them in her exact picture perfect mind because she's like, oh, I'll always be able to go back to Alderaan, and she can't.
Yeah, listeners, I thought I was going to pick a happier one, and we're not quite there yet. But Leia's story is tragedy.
Mine was happy, so there we go. I made it happy. Jeez.
This is why you're here. If we're the yin and the yang, I guess I'll be the little black rain cloud, and you can be the ray of sunshine. Which is a little bit opposite from our relationship in real life, to be honest. Sometimes you're the grumpy Gus, and I'm the ray of sunshine.
Oh, I wouldn't say sometimes. I'd say most of the time, yes.
That's good. I'm kind of... Like, I really like your pick of Long Live, but I'm kind of bummed now we don't get to do trivia.
It is what it is. I was not as solid in my thinking on it. So, unfortunately, next time.
That's okay. You're spared a humiliating loss in trivia this episode. But that kind of wraps us up. Is there anything else you want to say on Leia and Speak Now?
No, it's a great album. I'm excited to hear what else we come with. Next, we're going to talk about Red, Taylor's version. And yeah, we'll get to have fun with that one. Sarah's got a big old grin on her face with that one.
Well, I mean, Red, it was a large album to begin with, and then with all of the From the Vault tracks, there's so much to pick from. So I'm really excited to hear what you've picked.
We shall see. All right, so if you want to let us know what you think of our picks, or you want to let us know what we can do, which songs you think is better for this, you can contact us on Instagram or Threads. We are the Sand Hurts My Feelings pod. You can also contact us on email at the sandhurtsmyfeelingspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook. Send us a message on Facebook or just chat. And you can say we are at facebook.com/the Sand Hurts My Feelings podcast. And we are going to start trying to have this involved. It is more difficult because we are not on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call with that. It's a little more difficult to use hashtags. I'm struggling right now with Threads to try to get it to work, but I know on Instagram it definitely works. But if you want to let us know before we release our next episode, and maybe or just let us know anytime what you think what song Leia should be on Red, we have a hashtag that we are creating. It is Leia TS Red. That is LEIATS #RED. So use that hashtag on Instagram or Threads or even Facebook. You can use hashtags, and for sure Instagram I will find it. Hopefully Threads will start doing that. Right now it's too small. It doesn't like 1 or 2 person Instagram. So if enough people use the hashtag, maybe it'll grow. But if you want to contact us through any of those ways, please let us know. Please leave us a comment or a rating and review on the podcasting app networks that you are listening to this on. It really helps us grow, gets us out there. Also tell your friends about us. Tell them how we're Taylor Swift and Star Wars aficionados.
Yes. May the Force be with you forever and always.
May the Force be with you.
Forever and always.